He didn't ghost because he was scared of commitment. He didn't vanish because he was immature. And he definitely didn't disappear because he didn't care about you. He ghosted because, for the first time in years, he felt emotionally naked and had absolutely no idea how to handle that feeling. This is the part nobody ever talks about, especially not when you're dating in your 50s. Let's paint a picture. You've been on 3 dates. There were no fireworks, no dramatic, over-the-top romance. It wasn't chaotic. Instead, it was steady. The conversation flowed easily. You found yourselves holding eye contact for just a second longer than you normally would. After dinner, you took a slow walk together instead of rushing back to your separate lives. The connection felt real, it felt adult. And then, suddenly, silence. Complete radio silence. No explanation, no big fight, no warning sign. Just your messages left on read and that quiet, nagging question echoing in your mind at 2 in the morning. What did I do wrong? What makes this so much worse? Everyone told you he was different. He's emotionally stable, they said. He's a grown man. He knows what he wants. He's done the work on himself. So why does his disappearance feel like you've been completely erased? Why does it hurt this much? Here's the fundamental thing we misunderstand about so-called emotionally stable men in their 50s. They're not avoidant in the way we typically think. They don't run away from relationships. They run away from a relapse. Think about it. Many of these men have already lived through a complete emotional collapse. At some point in their lives, maybe it was a long marriage that slowly and painfully withered away. It could have been a brutal divorce that cost them their home, their daily routines, maybe even their relationship with their kids for a time. Or perhaps it was a past relationship where they gave every single part of themselves and ended up losing their own identity in the process. So they rebuilt. They did it carefully, brick by brick, quietly and methodically. They learned about boundaries and how to enforce them. They mastered emotional regulation, learning not to let their feelings control them. They built a life of independence. They stopped needing someone to feel whole and started functioning perfectly well without anyone. From the outside, that's exactly what emotional stability looks like. It's calm, it's controlled, it's self-sufficient. But here is the hidden truth, the part that's often missed. Emotional stability is not the same thing as emotional availability. By the time you get to that 3rd date, something starts to shift. The surface level chats deepen. The laughter softens and moments of genuine vulnerability start to peek through. The real, tangible possibility of attachment finally enters the room, and that's the precise moment his internal alarm system starts blaring. His nervous system begins whispering, "Be careful." This is exactly how it starts. The danger isn't chaos or drama. The danger is comfort. The threat isn't intensity, it's ease. For a man who has already lost everything once, feeling that sense of ease with someone is utterly terrifying. And this is the part that changes everything. He didn't ghost you because he lost interest. He ghosted because he felt seen again. And for him, being truly seen means being at risk. The risk of being disappointed again. The risk of becoming emotionally dependent on someone else. The risk of needing another person and having that need exposed for the world and for himself to see. So instead of having the difficult conversation and saying something like, "I'm scared because this is starting to feel like it matters," or "I don't trust myself not to fall too deep, too fast," he chooses silence. Why? Because silence is a fortress. Silence protects the carefully constructed life he's built from the rubble of his past. Some men don't ghost to escape you, they ghost to protect the version of themselves they almost lost forever. And here lies the cruel, painful irony of the whole situation. The very stability that you found so attractive in him is the exact same stability that now refuses to be shaken or disturbed by a new connection. So what does this all mean for you? Where does this leave you? Holding the pieces. It means his ghosting was never a reflection of your worth. It wasn't about your depth as a person or your timing. It was a collision between two fundamental truths. You were open to connection, and he was contained within his safety. And for him, containment feels safe until a real connection threatens to crack it wide open. Even emotionally healthy men have unfinished emotional chapters. They're just much better at hiding the book. Healing doesn't erase fear. It just teaches you how to live quietly alongside it. If someone disappears right when things start to feel real, it doesn't mean they were lying or faking it before. It just means reality finally showed up and they weren't ready to negotiate with it. And this might be the hardest truth of all to accept. You can't love someone into readiness. You can't use logic to explain someone into being courageous. Sometimes, people leave not because they don't feel enough for you, but because they are starting to feel far too much, far too soon. So if you're sitting there, replaying every conversation in your head, trying to read between the lines of text that never came, wondering which exact moment changed everything, I want you to ask yourself a different question. Did he disappear because you were too much? Or did he disappear because he was finally confronted with something real, something wonderful, something he could actually lose? Not every ending is a rejection. Some are just self-preservation disguised as indifference. Maybe his silence wasn't the absence of feeling at all. Maybe it was the overwhelming presence of fear. And maybe, just maybe, the person you were still thinking about is teaching you a painful but incredibly important lesson. You don't need to be chosen by someone who consistently chooses safety over connection. Because the right person, the one who is truly ready for you, won't vanish when things finally start to matter. They'll lean in. Thank you so much for watching. If this resonated with you, please consider subscribing for more insights. Take care.